The Lost Quill, an Ndebele story. Once in ancient times, Elephant and Rhino had a little argument which led to a big fight. Both were short-tempered animals, as you now well know. Rhino fought bravely and wounded Elephant several times with his sharp horn, but his bad temper and rage made him fight rather blindly. Elephant, however, kept his temper under control, and because he was much bigger and stronger and could use his long tusks, he was soon winning. Eventually, Rhino had to give in. Bruised and torn with a great many gashes in his thick hide, he limped away. Rhino was in great pain and bleeding badly. He sought out Porcupine, whom he thought might be able to help him. He begged her to give him one of her longest and strongest quills, so that he could use it as a needle and sew up the great tears in his skin. Porcupine, who was not too happy about being awakened from her daytime sleep, was anxious to get back to bed, and so, to get rid of Rhino, she agreed to lend him her best quill on one condition: that Rhino would return it when he had finished with it. She also felt rather sorry for Rhino. "My quills," she squeaked, "are all I have to protect me against my enemy, Lion. So I am depending on you, Rhino, to bring that quill back." Rhino solemnly agreed to this and gave her his word that he would return the quill the very next day. Rhino sewed up his torn skin using fiber from a baobab tree. To this day, you can still see the rough, scarred ridges on his hide. Satisfied with his handiwork, he lay down in some soft grass for a much-needed healing sleep. He placed Porcupine's quill carefully beside him for safekeeping. One evening, a few days later, Rhino happened to meet Porcupine. He suddenly remembered his promise, but try as he might, he just couldn't remember where he had left the quill or what had become of it. All he remembered was sewing himself up with the quill held in his mouth. "Goodness me," he thought, "could I have swallowed it by mistake?" After a great deal of thought, Rhino came to the conclusion that if he had swallowed the quill, then sooner or later it would meet the same fate as all the other things that he swallowed each day. He explained all this to Porcupine and apologized, promising soon to return the quill. And that is why Rhino began to kick his dung about. He has been searching ever since in the hope of finding the lost porcupine quill among his droppings. I would be terrified if I swallowed a porcupine quill.